Alright, okay. Fairy Fencer F. It's been a game I've been anticipating for a while now. Ever since I saw the first trailer of it revealed way back when, I said to myself, wow, this game looks like it could be fairly good, fairly entertaining, coming from Kappa Heart, the same makers from the Hyperdimension Neptunia series. Now, I've been an avid player of the Hyperdimension Neptunia series. They're not anything really special, but they are, without a doubt, fairly entertaining games that I would give a recommendation to anybody who likes anime. But as you know, from a technical standpoint, Kappa Heart Games has never ever been, too good. And to be honest with this particular game, I was hoping that they stepped their game up, especially considering that their games are usually lighthearted games. This one was going to be a little bit darker, have a more darker theme. So I was very much looking forward to it, especially when I saw all the character models and everything in the artwork. It seemed like a pretty good game to look forward to. The question is, now that it has released, is it worth getting? Is it worth playing? Is it worth you spending your hard-earned cash on? Well, allow me to answer those questions in my review. The story places you in the shoes of a fencer named Fang, a rather rude and one-track-minded guy that doesn't really care about anything but eating and sleeping. He finds himself pulling a sword out of a stone, revealing the fairy Erin, who has lost her memories, except to revive the goddess who has been sealed so that she can bring peace to the land. Of course, it's not that easy. On the opposite end of things, you have the evil company of Activision, who wants to spread their dirty DLC tactics across the land to ensure people pay extra money for content that should already be in the game. Okay, it's not anything like that. They're called the Dorful Corporation, and they want to revive the Vile God, who has also been sealed to bring evil throughout the land. So it's kinda the same as Activision, right? Fang is joined by a group of rather interesting individuals. You have the classy Tiara, who can be kind of a snobby, stuck-up girl, but has a distant trait of liking whenever Fang insults her.
You're right. Hey, you stuck-up bitch. You've got a real crappy attitude. You better watch your back from now on.
How can you say something so dreadful? But for some reason, I am getting rather excited. What's wrong with this chick?
You have the sexy beauty Harley, who is a crazy mad scientist type of fairies. She's really a slob and will randomly take her clothes off if she gets too hot. Or hell, she might even go outside without any underwear on. So it kinda goes without saying that I liked Harley.
Harley, could you move a little faster? Your ginormous ass is in my face.
Whoops, sorry about that.
The rest of the cast is a fun bunch who join Fang pretty much just for the hell of it. They're funny and at times entertaining, but they are without a doubt your normal JRPG archetypes. You even have the mascot sort of character in Pippin, whose design I find very weird and I've had nightmares about. Seriously, what the fuck is he? For the most part, the cast are good, but I swear they're missing this little spark that makes them better, that makes them more awesome. They're missing that hint of awesomeness, and I was really coming to expect that from this cast, but just never got it. And the bad guys, it seems like they're just bad guys for the sake of being bad guys. I mean, there's no motivation of doing what they do besides being evil, you know?
I adore shattering human emotions into pieces. What use is love? What's the point of friendship?
Please, forgive us. If this continues, the village will be in ruins.
What? A doddering old man pleading for mercy? Your desire to save this village really pisses me off. As I recall, you have a daughter. Fight her! Fight each other to the death! I'll show mercy to whoever's...
Not my daughter.
Damn idiot killed himself. How disgusting.
It's like there's no backstory, even a little bit of backstory for some of these characters, and this game is touted as being a little bit more darker than any of the games Cabal Heart has come out to release, but it's kind of one-dimensional in its presentation of this. It's just darker for the sake of being dark. But I have to say, even that stuff aside, the story does get the job done into keeping you invested just a little bit to see what happens next. Now, Fairy Fencer F's graphics are not that good. I mean, sure, the in-game character models look pretty good, and the designs themselves, the artwork in general, looks really nice. It's the same artist from the Hyperdimension Neptune games. But seriously, everything else is just plain. It's not bad, it's like decent, it's just bland. I'm all for gameplay over graphics, but seriously, at this point in gaming, even at this point in the generation, for a game that's done by a low budget developer, we have to have some type of standard set in mind. Fairy Fencer F is the third game Cabal Heart has been using the same graphics engine since Hyperdimension Neptune Mark II back in 2011. And you're telling me they can't understand how the PS3 works in order to achieve a constant frame rate of at least 30 frames per second? The game is rather choppy, and no, it's not to a point where it's unbearable or game breaking, it's just really jarring. Especially for me, coming from a person who has played most of their console games, it's really like they don't even care to improve. Now, I'm not saying I want graphics that are stellar like Final Fantasy 13, but I am expecting a little bit, improvement here and there. The dungeons aren't that badly designed, and they do look okay, but I can't help but feel they could be better. And if you're not going to have high-res graphics and you're going to have low-res resolution graphics, why can't you achieve a constant frame rate? I shudder to think what this game would run like if it didn't have the optional install. Meaning this game could run worse if you don't install it, which is just crazy. Now, I'm sorry that Fairy Fencer F has to be the game that I point this out on, but come on, Cabal Heart, it's 2014. You're coming out with a sequel to this game next year, and it's on the PS4. Seriously, get your shit together in this department. Now, moving on to the sound and voice acting. The voice acting is good. The English dub voice actors do a satisfying job in their voices, and there's a lot of voice acting. All major story events are voiced to the beginning to the end with no sudden silence in between or in the middle of the game. Now, for the soundtrack, I gotta say it really kicks ass. More specifically, the in-game battle themes are pretty awesome. They really get you pumped to go into battle and play the game, especially the themes that play during transformation sequences.
Nice! Get ready! Yeah! New data!
Get you really hyped to kick some serious ass. I mean, this is a good example of how battle theme music goes a long way into making the game feel fun and having you engaged in battle.
Form transformation complete.
Alright, let's go!
Now, the general gameplay of Fairy Fencer F will have you go into dungeons to find event points, fight the boss, and just pretty much move on. Now, before you can get to those dungeons, you have this thing called world shaping that allows you to put fairies into the ground around the dungeons and give the dungeons various benefits like plus 30% to experience, plus 50% to money, or plus 10% to attack power, so on and so forth. You can even stack these benefits if you can find the right area around the dungeons without hitting other fairies. Now, you get new fairies by just playing the game normally, or you can pay out for Lola's information so she can point you into the direction of a dungeon that has a fairy inside it. Once you go there, you go to the deepest part and you fight a little mini boss who will then give you the fairy after you defeat it. Now, the fairies don't come with these added benefits. You have to take them to the Godly Revival. There you can put your newly found fairy into one of the seals of the bio god or the goddess, and a battle will ensue, and that will give you your added benefit. Now, of course, being a JRPG that Fairy Fencer F is, you have your side quests, which are nothing but fetch quests and kill this and kill that and blah blah blah. Doing these side quests gives you some extra items as you would expect from side quests to do. They will give you accessories for your characters to customize them how you want to look. It's not exactly in-depth customization, but It's there just to be there. It's no Tales of Xillia customization, but it will do. Now the actual battle system is actually pretty good, but gets kind of repetitive later and ends up being a trek because of the game being overall way too easy. But the battle system is what you might call an evolved version of Hyperdimension Neptune Victory. If you look at them side to side, it's pretty much more or less the same. Your characters move in a limited range, and if an enemy is within their range, they can attack them and use skills. Each character can switch their weapon sort of with each hit to hit an enemy's weakness. You can even launch an enemy into the air with an added follow-up attack to increase damage. You have gun attacks, swords, spears, scythes. Enemies are weak to one or more of these attack types, and once you hit the enemy weakness enough, you can activate an avalanche combo at random. Now, avalanche attack will allow all three characters to attack in the same turn to pull off one long combo. It occurs when one or two of your characters are on deck next in the turn order, but it doesn't take away a turn from the other characters, so you can unleash a good avalanche combo and then have your characters take their turns normally as they occur in the turn order. Now your characters can also transform into their awesome fairy forms to unleash devastating attacks, and you hear that awesome badass theme that comes with transforming. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And since the game is so easy, you can pretty much just unleash the most powerful skills you have and just dominate. Your characters also have unique abilities, such as Fang, he can increase his overall attack power, and Tiara, she can shield herself from any attack once. But these abilities weren't very useful because the game is just too easy. I never felt the need to use these abilities. I used them once and when they were introduced, and to be honest with you guys, I forgot about them completely. You can use them if you want, but in my eyes, they just weren't needed at all. Now, when I say it gets repetitive because the game is too easy. The enemies don't require much thought to them. The battles just don't require much strategy. I mean, sure, enemies have AoE attacks, but they do so little damage, and if you keep up with your equipment like you would in any normal RPG, the damage they inflict on you is just so little. Now, I'm not a guy that loves overly hard JRPGs, but I do like a little bit of a challenge, and Fairy Fencer F just never provided a sense of urgency at all. Fairy Fencer F was kind of a hard game for me to judge. Its story isn't what I call compelling, and it's just okay enough to keep you getting through it. The characters do help with their distinct character traits to keep the heavy visual novel storytelling a bit fresh. The in-game graphics have always been a subpar affair coming from Capar Heart, and they always leave something to be desired, and again, it doesn't help that the frame rate can get annoying. Again, it's not really a game-breaking deal, but at this point in gaming, it really shouldn't exist. The soundtrack is great, and I'll say it again, I love the battle themes and the transformation themes. Really get you eager to play. I had to download some of the tracks of this game. The voice acting doesn't hurt anybody, and even if it does, there's an option for the Japanese voice track. The battle system is good as a whole, but doesn't have much thought behind it since the game is kind of on the too easy side of things, not really requiring much thought into considering what moves you would make next. Fairy Fencer F is a rather short JRPG. You can probably finish the game in a little over 20 hours if you don't get the extra character to join your party. The requirements to get the extra character is to have Fang to be level 40 at a point in the game where he should be maybe level 25 to 30-ish. So that tacked some on to my game time of 25 hours. With all that in mind, I give Fairy Fencer F a solid 7 out of 10. If you're looking into this game and you want to play it, I say go for it. It does leave a lot to be desired in some places, and it's a shame too because I felt this game could be even better than what it is. But at the end of the day, I did like playing it. Anyway guys, that's it for this review of Fairy Fencer F. Follow me on Twitter if you feel like it, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.